Alrighty, so we did Women in Education. I'm Ashley.
Hi, I'm Sharon.
I'm Katharina.
Alrighty, so a presentation overview. We looked at 3 different countries, the USA, China, and Pakistan, and looked on how each location influences women in education and kind of like the different levels of education and an overview of the education system in those countries. And then the overall trends in the fields of education. So our big question was, how are women represented in the field of education in different countries, and does gender inequality exist across the board? So this is a little bit about each country. The United States, our population is approximately 325 million. About 50% is female. As you know, women have the right to vote, right to education, we can own property. The Equal Pay Act was signed in 1963, declaring that men and women must be given equal pay for equal work. But unfortunately, there is still an average wage gap. Women make 80 cents for every dollar that a male makes, so the Equal Pay Act isn't exactly in effect, really, and our unemployment rate is 4.9%.
So for China, the population is approximately 1.4 billion, and 48% around 48% is female. And the statistic expect by 2020 there will be at least 30 million single men that's not married. And the law on the protection of women's rights and interests was adopted in 1992 that concerning employment equality. And currently, women get paid 17.5 lesser than men. And the unemployment rate in China right now is 4.04%.
In Pakistan, the population is about 193 million. About 49% is female. They are ranked 143rd out of 144, second to last in the Global Gender Gap Index, which is really bad. So they rate it based on economic participation, opportunity, education, health, and political empowerment. So as we can see from that, they kind of is a premonition of what we'll see in their education system. But their women are paid 23% less than men, and their employment rate is 5.9%.
So the education system in the U.S., students start around age 6. Depending on if you send your child to preschool, preschool is not a requirement in the U.S. Students who attend preschool are between ages 3 and 4, but start elementary school between 5 and 6. We have a broken down system, so preschool, elementary school, middle school, high school. And then graded on a letter grade system, which correlates with a number. And the school year is from September to June, and then college also optional, which is post-secondary ed. Undergrad and graduate, and then overall in the whole education system, there are 80% female teachers.
And for China, the students start school around age of 6, and the China established a law called 9-year compulsory education, which is that the children required to go to school for 9 years, and the government provides 6 years of the primary school education for free and 3 years of the secondary education for free. And the education is divided into 4 levels: primary school, followed by junior middle school, senior middle school, and there's an option for attending university or entering the workforce. And the education grade by the letter grade system as well. School start around September and in July. And the overall percentage of the teacher is 97.4% is female.
In Pakistan, students begin from ages 3 to 5 in their 6 levels of education. So it's preschool, primary, middle, high, intermediate, and then post-secondary, which is undergraduate and graduate. And only a little bit less than 50% of the teachers are female.
Okay, so then in elementary school, in the U.S., 81.8% of the teachers are women. And it's even higher for kindergarten. So you'll kind of see a trend at the lower levels, at least in the U.S. The percentages of women are higher, but as you increase, they get lower. Teachers make about $54,000 a year, and you need at least a bachelor's degree. There are 1.5 million jobs total in the elementary school. That includes kindergarten. Growth rate, the average is 7 for like all jobs. The growth rate is 6% for teaching, so it is increasing, which is a good thing, but it's a little lower than other jobs. And it's a growing field, but it's dominated at this level by women in the U.S.
For China, the elementary school is composed of 60% of the female teacher, and for the kindergarten, it's at the highest, almost like 100 or 100, so it's 99%. And then the salary is divided into two systems, so public school and primary school. The public school is around between 942 to 1570 US dollars. Remember that there's like the currency, like $1 is equal to like right now 7 Chinese dollars. So like the salary might seem like the currency might seem different compared to the United States. And in total, it's 5.6 million jobs in total, and the growth rate is 1.5%. And in order to become an elementary school teacher, you only need to be an associate degree.
In Pakistan, of the 49.61 women teachers, most of them are primary school, which is like the elementary school level. I couldn't find anything about their salaries, which is kind of indicative of how they stand as not only educators, but women in the workplace in Pakistan. So they're only usually primary school teachers because at that age, women are still kind of viewed as motherly figures, and in the higher ages, male teachers are more reserved for that because schooling is more important and therefore men do the teaching. And only about 87% of Pakistani children finish primary school.
So middle school, 81.8% women for teachers as well, and then there's a lot less jobs in the middle school field. There's 627,000 approximately, and teachers make a little bit more than elementary, not a lot. It's about 55,000, 56. Still a bachelor's degree, and it's still dominated by women, but there are more men, as there were in the previous slide. And then math and science are still predominantly women at this stage, about 65% teachers. So it's kind of interesting how like 81% are women, but not a lot of them, even at this stage, are teaching math and science, and that will decrease as the age goes up.
So for China, like compared to the elementary school, there's like equal distribution of the female teacher, and the job is 3.4 million. And for the salary, it's the same thing for like all education systems, but it's divided into public and private school. And then right now it's like bachelor's degree for becoming a middle school children, but it's right now training for a master's degree. And the growth rate decreased compared to the elementary school. It's only 1.3%.
In Pakistan, they start single-sex education, so that's all classroom of boys or girls. Girls prefer to have female teachers, and since at this point in time there's such a low admittance of female students, there isn't as much of a need for female teachers. So this is where it kind of goes down as far as the percentage for middle school and high school.
So for high schools, we take a drop in the U.S. There's 57% female teachers. It's the lowest yet, and they make about $55,000 a year, 955,000 jobs, bachelor's, but it is trending towards a master's, so their students who want to become teachers need a master's degree in education to become a high school teacher, and this is where it's a significantly lower percent of teachers who are women teaching math and science. It's only about 44%, so you saw that flip. In high school, there's a lot more math and science teachers, and studies are showing that girls who have female math and science teachers are actually 19% more likely to graduate with a college degree in math and science. So we've talked about how like women are discouraged from the fields of math and science, and having more teachers at the high school level who are women will help increase that.
So for high school, it's an equal distribution between female and male, and the wage is the same thing divided into public and private school system. And due to the 9-year compulsory education, so the government only provides 9 years of free education, so there might not be a lot of children that wanted to go to school or they want to enter into the workforce. that way the job available is decreased to 1.4 million, and there might not be a lot of teachers. And then the degree is bachelor's or master's degree.
In Pakistan, only 18% of Pakistani women receive 10 or more years of schooling. And part of this gender disparity is due to the Taliban imposing a ban on female education. There are still some places that would still have schools, but they would be attacked or bombed, kind of like what we did in Couple Beauty School, where her beauty school was targeted for a little bit. And secondary school has a low percentage of female students, with only about 36% of women enrolled, and of that 36%, less than 50 actually have regular attendance.
So college and post-secondary ed. So in the U.S., full-time professors are only 24% women. There are over 1 million jobs, and it's the largest growing field of education in the U.S. So it's a 13% growth rate, which is above the 7%, which is the typical growth rate in the U.S. for all occupations. You need a master's or a doctorate depending on which college you're going to and what you're going to be teaching. So average pay for all professors and lecturers, private schools about $99,000, public about $80,000. And then that includes professors with tenure, so it really does jump it up. But full professors with tenure make over $100,000 in both private and public.
And for China, there are around 45% of the female teacher and 54% of the male teacher. So you can see that there's like not equal distribution of the female and male teacher. And there in the public, there are around 2 million jobs available. And the salary is between $1,200 to $1,600 per month.
There are a few women-only colleges in Pakistan, and they're starting to grow as the need for education is starting to really be known over there, which is good, and that in turn will help with female educators.
So overall trends for the United States in the field of education. Married women actually earn less as teachers than non-married females, which is interesting, but there's no difference for males. So it doesn't matter if a male teacher is married or not, he's going to make the same. But a woman who is not married will make more than a woman who is married. So I found that very interesting. Male teachers receive 10 to 13% more pay, and minorities are also vastly underrepresented across the board. The pie chart shows the distribution of education majors. 82% of education majors were white, so minorities in teaching professions are very underrepresented. We're moving towards higher degrees and younger teachers. So 44% of teachers are under the age of 40, and 56% have a master's or higher. So it's becoming you need more education to become a teacher, and so more schooling and more money. And there are 3.5 million elementary and secondary full-time equivalent teachers, and the college professors have the highest demand and the highest pay, but you also have to have the highest schooling. And you can see the gender distribution of educational staff. The black part is males, and the white-gray is females. And as you get like vice principal or like higher up in the tiers, basically, males have a higher percentage than females. Like superintendent, a much higher percent is males than females. So why is there a wage gap? There's like a ton of different theories on why there's a wage gap, especially for teachers. These are just 3. I believe there were like 8 or 9. But basically the human capital theory is that basically females are less likely to fulfill the potential of their degree. So they invest less time in their job, or at least that's what the theory suggests. And then there's a comparative advantage theory, is that men are not willing to embrace like a low social status, so they'll go for those higher like principal or superintendent positions, or even like positions at colleges that are going to pay more, whereas women will choose basically what they want to do and not necessarily worry about the social status. And then the dual economy there's two sectors, core and periphery. And core is dominated by like high-paying jobs and corporate, whereas periphery is like the professional and low-paying jobs. And men are more likely to go into the core jobs, which include like universities or higher-paying, like superintendent, principal. Whereas periphery are elementary and secondary education, so they're lower-paying jobs for women, basically.
And the overall trend in education in China is like salary is same for the both male and female teacher. It only varies in courses. So if you are a like science, Chinese or math teacher, you basically have more like class to teach more frequently compared to like gym, music or art. You might not teach frequently. And the private institution receive more pay than the public. And as you go up from middle school to high school, it requires more higher degrees. And college professor jobs have the highest demand and pay. And there's more needs in primary education, which is 5.6 million jobs, compared to secondary education, it's only 4.8 million jobs. And compared with other developed countries, China has the lowest salary, but the teacher in China receive a lot of respect from the society. And education in China, as compared to before, more women are college educated than before. You can see from the chart that that's compared globally. In 1960, there's more men that attend college and less women, and right now to 2014, it's more female than male. Yeah.
So in Pakistan, teachers are predominantly men. Less than half the primary school teachers are women, and about a quarter of the women are secondary school teachers. Because of this, enrollment of girls is low, as evidence suggests that girls enroll into school when there are more women teachers. However, studies show that there is no difference in the value of education taught, whether it's by a male or female. Therefore, women are just as successful teachers than male teachers. And part of the problem with Pakistan education is that the girls feel more comfortable with the women, but in order for there to be more women teachers, the girls have to finish school. So it's kind of like this battle between getting these girls out, but then also getting them to enroll to begin with. However, many figures and organizations are speaking out about the importance of female education and educators, like UNICEF, Force Change, Malala, and many others. This is Malala. I'm sure you may have heard of her before. She was shot in the head at 15 years old by the Taliban due to her fight for women's rights and education. She survived her attack and used her experience as a platform to fight for education for women in Pakistan. She won the Nobel Peace Prize, has appeared on talk shows such as Ellen, has met with President Obama, written a book. She's always on the news, and by working as an activist, she has helped the world see the need for education in Pakistan and just be aware of what they need for support and, really motivating these women. There is hope for women's right in education in Pakistan, and she spoke out that for a Pakistani woman, their role is usually to stay at home, be mothers, get married, just be the caretaker, and that's not what she saw for herself. So she's really fighting for women who don't want to be stuck in that social norm in Pakistan and want to make a name for themselves and really learn about whatever they want to.
Okay, and then this is just on a global scale. So 53% of the world's post-secondary teachers are female. So that's overall, which is good. As you can see, the different countries, once you really break that number down, there is a huge gap, especially in Pakistan and countries such as that. And then there's a chart there, primary education and secondary education. So in the different countries. So while it may seem a little skewed that 53% are female, but if you really break it down by country, there are less women who are educators and they earn less pay. So, and that's it. Does anybody have any questions?